Hi, I'm Mark Steger. I played the Demogorgon in Stranger Things and played many different characters over the years. What do I remember about working on the same set with David Harbour and Winona Ryder? Well, Winona's lovely. She's just such a lovely woman. Just a really joy to work with. Very professional and very present. And just someone that it's just easy. The kind of perfect actor to work with. And David, I actually didn't have any scenes with. I was at a party, a Netflix party. It was after the first season came out, and I started talking to David, and we were having this conversation. He was acting kind of strange, sort of like he wanted to get away from me as soon as possible. And then we, said goodbyes, and he came back. He came back like 15 minutes later. He's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was you. I didn't know who you were. I just thought you were some weirdo talking to me." So that's the thing about what I do is a lot of times me and my castmates don't recognize me if I'm out of costume. I was part of Stranger Things season 1 when the core cast was really young. What was like being on set with them and watching them grow into the stars they are today. It's pretty remarkable, actually. I mean, those people you see on screen are pretty much the people that they are. They're really just all very down to earth and really just kind of terrific people. And they're all really just smart and talented, and I really can't say enough about them. It was one of the funnest groups of people I've ever worked with, and one of the most generous. You were born in '62, so you remember the '80s well. Did Stranger Things get it right in terms of set, wardrobe, and story? Stranger Things did an excellent job with the sets and wardrobe and all that. And one of the things that they really paid attention to that people don't always realize is that if you're doing a period piece, you don't just have things from that period. You have things from before that period as well. So you're going to a house in the '80s. They're going to have things from the '70s and maybe even the '60s. So it's not just if it was just from that era, it wouldn't be authentic. But so many of the things in that were even just like the Pinto. I remember a friend of mine in high school drove a Pinto. So it was kind of kick when it was my first day on set. I was walking by the Pinto, and so it was kind of a kick. You brought the Demogorgon to life in Stranger Things with pure physical performance. How did you develop its movement and personality? Well, the beginning of any kind of work with a creature starts with the script. It starts with talking to directors. Find out what it is they're thinking, how they envision the creature, and then I usually go in and work on my own a bit, developing different physical behaviors. I ask myself certain questions like, where do I come from? What's the gravity like there? What do I breathe? Just simple things. What do I want? It's a very basic actor question, and then the other thing that dictates how the performance goes is how the character is designed and what the suit or prosthetic, what the makeup is like, because that has a lot to do with the biometrics, how it changes your biometrics, like with, the Demogorgon. It's basically humanoid, but has very different, very unique features that only the Demogorgon has. So that's generally the process. I mean, it's a little more involved than that, but a lot of it's just, getting in when I'm finally in makeup, fully in makeup, is when I really know. When I look in the mirror and say, "Oh, there you are." You performed as creatures in I Am Legend, The Last Witch Hunter, and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. What is the biggest challenge about embodying something non-human? Well, the biggest challenge is actually, there's challenges in coming up with behavior, like I mentioned earlier, and embodying it physically. A lot of that's psychological, but when it in a basic sense, in a very very nuts and bolts sense, like the dictates of the suit, of the costume, the makeup that I'm wearing affects my performance quite a bit. A lot of times I can't even see because I'll either have contact lenses that you barely see out of, or maybe the character, like in Priest, doesn't have eyes. And sometimes I have trouble, I can't breathe out my nose, and maybe I don't have ears, so I can't hear. And sometimes it's difficult just to go to the bathroom, if I can at all. So those things are really challenging.